What's up, everybody? I'm Josh Meek, the Uber Geek, and welcome to Pretty Dece, the short show about movies, comics, games, and all the pop culture in between. Today we're talking about video games because a hacker has delved into the Nintendo Switch Online NES app and has found code, has found strings for hidden SNES games. Now, these games are not buried in the app. We are just seeing the kind of groundwork being placed inside the app for the eventual inclusion of these SNES games. So right now they just found strings of characters referencing the names of these SNES games. It does, however, seem to indicate that they are at least heading in the direction of SNES games coming to the Nintendo Switch Online exclusive NES app, which obviously would have to change names or morph in some way to allow for SNES games to be played there. Now, this app launched alongside the Nintendo Switch Online service, and honestly is one of the biggest selling points for the online service at this point. There aren't a ton of Nintendo Switch Online games that you want to play online outside of Super Smash Bros. So before that game came out, this was really kind of the main thing, that they gave you this kind of all-you-can-eat smorgasbord of a curated collection of NES games, and they've added to that list as time has gone, and it's a nice app. It's well put together, and it's really cool. It's a nice way to play these classic NES games. And when they first announced this online service, they talked about the fact that first they'd said you'd get one free NES or SNES game every month, and then it eventually morphed into kind of the service that we have now, where it is this all-you-can-eat thing, and they kind of grow the service as it goes. But obviously, they will need to expand that at some point, continue adding NES games, and you would hope add SNES games at some point as well. And it seems like that at least on the back end, some of that is getting started. So the strings that were found in the NES app, in the emulator, referenced are for 22 different SNES games. And it's a lot of the big heavy hitters that you would expect from hitting the highlights of the SNES and the games that were most popular on the SNES. So those games are Breath of Fire 2, Contra 3, Demon's Crest, F-Zero, Kirby's Dream Course, Kirby's Dream Land 3, Kirby Superstar, The Legend of the Mystical Ninja, The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, Pilot Wings, Poppin' Twinbee, Star Fox, Star Fox 2, Stunt Race FX, Super Ghouls and Ghosts, Super Mario All-Stars, Super Mario Kart, Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island, Super Metroid, Super Punch-Out, and Super Soccer. So definitely some curveballs thrown in there. Demon's Crest is maybe not one of the top games you would think of. Stunt Race FX is certainly a very weird pull that I don't know that a lot of people have a ton of nostalgia for. But then you have the classics like Link to the Past, like Super Mario World, the Kirby games. So a lot of what you would expect as well. Now, again, these games are not buried in this app. You can't go hack your Switch and turn these on or anything like that. These are literally just the names of the games, kind of getting put in place clearly for future work that might be done, a future update that might come. Now, the hacker that dug into this and really got to the bottom of it, his name is Cappuccino Heck, because this is the internet and everyone has weird names, and pulled these strings out, and they've continued to do some further work and some further investigation on what they're finding here in this app. And they've really found code for 3 different emulator types. So the NES Classic, the codename Kachi Kachi, in at least as far as the software goes. Codename Canoe is the SNES Classic, so the Super Nintendo games. And then there's another emulator called Hiyoko, and they're not really sure what that's actually emulating yet. So that could even be a third console planned to get included in this NES-SNES combo for the Switch Online. Obviously, it's something that Nintendo's probably going to roll out pretty slowly, keep that carrot on the hook for everyone who's playing along and who's paying this monthly fee or yearly fee to have the service. Obviously, you don't want everyone to burn out on all these games in 1 month and then cancel their subscription. So I don't think these things are super soon. I think we might see these games come out very, very slowly, and we might not even see the first SNES game come for quite some time, but I do think that they are coming eventually. Now, one of the other things that maybe pushes the timeline a little bit down the road is that when Nintendo launched the NES online service, they launched that NES app. They also launched alongside it some replica NES controllers that attach like Joy-Cons, charge like Joy-Cons, but are essentially exactly like NES controllers. My thought is that they would want to do the exact same thing for SNES controllers. So put out some replica SNES controllers that charge like Joy-Cons, connect like Joy-Cons, but essentially replicate the feeling of using a Super NES controller on the Switch. Now, we haven't heard anything about those things. Of course, none of these games have been announced, so getting that into production and getting it for sale is something that I think would probably come alongside the announcement of SNES games coming to the Nintendo Switch Online service. So that might make it more of a holiday thing. That might make it a little bit farther down the road. Now, all of this could change. We could have an announcement from Nintendo tomorrow saying that we're going to get 22 new SNES games on Friday. But as it stands right now, I'm guessing that we won't hear any news for quite a little bit of time, and then we'll get these things rolled out very slowly as they continue to build that service. So that's going to do it for Pretty Dece for today. Thank you very much for joining me to speculate about SNES games on Nintendo Switch Online. If you want to support Pretty Dece, you can do so. Visit prettydeceshow.com/listener support to find out the details. Of course, you can download the podcast from your favorite podcast delivery platform, Google, Apple, Spotify, Pocket Casts, everywhere that you can imagine. You can also check out the YouTube channel. Just visit youtube.com/prettydece to find that. And of course, hit me up on social media. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Pretty Dece Show.